It happens here with Gigi.
Yep.
All right.
I love his Wraith.
Oh yeah.
The GG Wraith has always been the best Wraith.
Yeah.
Oh wow, he threw a power forehand.
Oh, yeah.
A power backhand
It's
roller.
rolling.
And
Oh,
out of
wow.
bounds, but it's fighting its way back.
It's definitely gonna roll over. Oh, what are you doing? Why are you trying to be cute? You're too old to be
What?
cute.
Look at how.
Look at that guy's face. Can you super zoom on his face?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'll zoom in and
ridiculous.
replay that.
Oh, show that guy's face
Just
over
like
and over
defeated.
again.
Yeah.
Can we see it just one more time? Can you broke it up?
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
But it looks like it hit him in the jump too, right? Like
yeah, like he got dick punched by the disc.
It's
Family
just a
jewels.
stupid move. It's just like trying to be cute, and you just can't
Yeah.
do that.
I mean, Gigi hits this line pretty
I
perfect.
know, and that's gonna roll in and go another 100 feet.
Oh, I mean, that is. Oh my god.
Look at
It looked like he tried to stop it. Like I know he was trying to be cute and like jump over it or something.
Like what? I would like to see what this guy does if he was in the street and a car was coming. Like, what would he
He's
do to
gonna
get out?
jump
Just
over
like, how would he get out of the way of anything?
It's like you've been watching it the whole time. Just step backwards.
0 out of 10. Yeah, that's
A cool disc golf podcast for intermediate players. This is the Barely Stable Podcast.
Live from beautiful Austin, Texas, this is the Barely Stable Podcast. We're ready to BS. Here are your Barely Stable hosts, Daniel Freeberg and Nick Barr.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Barely Stable. We're back from the summer sabbatical. Summer vacation is over. What's up, Daniel? How you doing, buddy?
Doing
Good
all
to see you,
right.
buddy. Can we one of these? All right. So
I'm
we're
excited
back.
to be here.
I'm super stoked to be back in the studio. You kidding me, man?
Episode 25.
25. So many things have happened. Worlds is this week, kind of a big week for disc golf. I know everyone will be watching. I think coverage starts, today is Tuesday, so coverage starts on
Wednesday.
Yeah.
The opening feature cards have already been announced. They look pretty sick. Check it out on the website if you want, pdga.com or Disc Golf Pro Tour. But we got a funny thing we watched during the opening here. Now, Gigi had this roller, Garret Guthrie. If you don't know Garret Guthrie, go buy a Wraith because he has the best Wraith every year, always.
Cool stamp.
Very cool stamp. A little demonic, but that's what Wraiths are. That's what Wraiths do. Sometimes I see some people that draw hearts on them, so there's some happiness on some of the Wraith stamps. But I mean, could you? I mean, how far down the fairway, first of all, is this marker? Do you think? Do you think he's 400, 500 feet down?
Yeah.
This disc has been rolling forever. Like it flies. What do you think? Probably
150, 200 feet.
that's
in the air.
150, 200 down before it starts rolling.
It's moving.
It's already rolled another 150 feet.
And then it hits dummy here. Oh man, that's got to be brutal. I bet. Look at the. Oh.
I mean, he can see he just took a deep breath and he immediately. I mean, I feel for the guy, but I also, like I said, I'd love to see him in traffic playing Frogger. Like, I feel like he would just be on the front of a semi. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that's like the same thing that happened to deer when they're crossing the street.
Yeah.
Like they just see the headlights, they're like, oh, and they just freeze.
Try to jump. But yeah, no, and you know, Guthrie can throw. Like he can bomb, right?
I mean, he gets a lot of that distance, but that was going to go another 60, 70 feet of inbound rolling. Yeah.
Yeah,
Easy.
most
'Cause it was
importantly,
coming back.
it was going
It
to come
was
back in bounds.
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
It was. I mean, you can say what it was, but that's a 600-foot hole. Like he was getting most of the way. Maybe that's a birdie.
Yeah, so he's probably still gets up and down here pretty easy
Yeah.
for par, I think. I forget how this ended up for him. But that is, I mean, I know everyone has talked about this and it's kind of been beaten to death, but this is not the first time that something like this has happened. Like, I feel like this is just one, like, at what point are these, I don't say these people, but are people who are volunteering to be an integral part of a disc golf event? I mean, he was obviously spectating there.
Yeah.
That was not a
watching
guy who was like, my job is to make sure that people know whether they're not, their disc is in or out.
Mm-hmm.
He was like locked in. And
Look at that badass roller. I'm going to jump over it.
When you're on a card with someone who's throwing a roller, everyone is rooting for the roller. It's like someone started a horse race and everyone's rooting for that horse. Like it's
I quote
electric.
you on that all the time.
It's so much fun. But like, come on, man. You gotta not be a fan there. Oh, what'd you put? Did you get the
We
Katrina
got
one?
more.
up
Yeah,
here?
this isn't the first thing.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time.
This
No.
one I think is a little different, but let's watch Katrina here. Shout out to Disc Golf Pro Tour for letting us use this footage.
Yeah. Such a good throw again.
Yeah. One.
Off the cart.
Just.
Out of
I mean,
bounds. That one's not as bad.
That's not as bad. Also, like, considering I'm guessing the basket's right there. That's a incredibly dumb place to park a golf cart.
It shouldn't be there in the first place. But also, when you see it in the air, drive forward. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think that guy was just really happy to be in the shade. You see, he's also parked in the shade. I think he was more worried about not getting in the sun.
Getting him.
That. I mean, I hate to say it, but like when people say that like disc golf needs to like actually become professional, I'm talking about this kind of stuff. Like I'm not necessarily talking about like the other itty bitty gritty things that other people like. I kind of just want people to take it seriously and like that.
That's one of the
I know
things
it's
that never happens with the PGA. You know what I mean?
It does in Arizona at that crazy one where everyone's drunk.
Fair.
But for most parts, but I don't necessarily want to be compared to the PGA. I don't think that's a good comp.
Fair.
But like we got to be a little better. I also will say this as just a compassionate human who loves other human beings. I also feel terribly bad for everyone involved in one of these videos because
nobody's happy.
I can see myself getting into the situation and like just having a momentary lapse of like concentration and that happening to me. So like my heart goes out to you and I don't fault anybody. Like I get it. I'm just saying in general, like this seems to be happening a lot. I'll let you take that.
Yeah.
We can be good cop, bad cop here.
Hoppy guy. Like, get out of the way, man. Don't be cute. That guy's got to be like 50 years old. You don't see old Freeberg out there trying to be cute with shit like that.
That's true. Oh, Barella hit a volunteer in Las Vegas?
Yeah, we got another one with Barella.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one. He hit a cameraman.
Oh, is this year?
No, this was last year.
Last year. Oh, okay. Last year. Pipes
This
the
is
gap.
another one. He nails the gap.
Oh, I know what camera guy is hitting.
Dude. At least with him.
Oh man,
like, he was very clearly trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, this guy gets all the credit for trying to, but I'm pretty sure those hazards are marked hazard. Like, so he took a stroke for that. Now, that's not to say it wouldn't have got up, but that looked like it was not going to go in the bunker had it not hit that guy.
And technically, it was the guy doing the rangefinder guy who didn't necessarily need to be there. And honestly, he probably wasn't as well trained as the cameramen who are pretty good. They actually do an amazing job when discs come flying in.
Absolutely.
They do an amazing job of like stepping to the side and avoiding them.
Well, I would say there's got to be a good highlight footage of cameramen missing the disc because you could do it to like the ballet music, like the Black Swan.
Well, I'll cut this guy a little more slack because AB that disc was moving.
Oh,
you know what I mean? That's not like
that
a roller
hurt.
that you've been watching.
The guy who fell out, he is hurt. Wherever the disc hit his leg there, fucking hurt. Excuse my French. Freaking hurts.
He's got a bruise,
doesn't feel
line
good,
bruise. But this doesn't just happen to the pros.
Yeah, this guy has a contusion from his ankle to his knee. Like he's black and blue. But it doesn't just happen in the pros.
It doesn't just happen in the pros.
Has it happened to you out on the course
We've
before?
had, I was present once when one of our buddies hit a guy like on the next hole out at Swordstone. And
just hit a guy. What was he standing? Is he by the tee box?
He was on the next hole. It was like hole 3 that we were throwing from, and it was hole 4. And our boy Lee threw one just a little far. The holes are kind of close, like the.
Yeah. Oh, so hold on. You were on 3? The downhill. So. So you're throwing to the fountain.
No, the one that just goes straight down the hill and there's like the road. Maybe it's 4 or 5. I don't know.
Oh yeah. So you're on. That's 3, 4, 5. Yeah,
it's 5. Yeah. And so he hit somebody on 6.
That makes sense. The tee box is just beyond.
Yeah, and just where it went down is down. But it actually worked out for him because his probably would have went out of bounds
if it didn't hit the guy.
Dude.
Oh, that's very lucky.
It dropped.
Not bad at that. Shot out that.
But that's the rule too. Is where it lies. That's
where it is.
That's what you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Like if you being a bystander, that doesn't you don't get a mulligan.
Is this the do you got
one more? Oh,
I got one more. This is a little bit
Umbrella
different.
Gate?
This is a little bit different for you guys. This is a fun one.
Oh, Ricky.
Look at young Ricky.
That's another one that came out with some heat on it.
This one, the spectator left their umbrella.
That one, like, why would you leave it there? Like, I guess you don't expect them to use every inch of the. At least that one stayed
I
in.
mean, the fact that the umbrella was in the field of play is a huge problem, including his drink. Like, there's also like a,
I'm out of the way.
Like a 28-ounce Red Bull sitting there or whatever. Like, that's insane. I can't believe the spotter is there and didn't say anything to, like, that's, I don't know.
The whole umbrella gate thing on that, is that, or were people saying like, oh, that umbrella was there on purpose?
I mean, there were a few people saying that, but I mean,
no way the umbrella was there on purpose. Whoever said that, shut up. Come on.
Just
like, this isn't Dealey Plaza.
I said
it. Shut up. What I will say, though, that like that is probably, that had a chance to go. That was probably out of bounds. That was probably out of bounds. So even if that umbrella had been just in bounds a little bit, I think that disc still hits off it and stays in. So like, what are you gonna do? This is a little bit of why I think the game is magical and awesome, and that like every time you go, it's a box of chocolates, because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what little thing is going to come into play that makes it a little different that day, whether it's wind, whether it's conditions, whether it's some guy in the card who won't stop playing music that sounds like two robots are having sex poorly. Like, it doesn't matter like what the thing is. There's some other thing every day that makes it different. And like, I think a little thing like that, let's bring it on. That's kind of awesome. At Roy G, there's a branch down on one of the long holes on the right side of the fairway. It doesn't really affect the hole at all. But if you're over there, you're completely screwed. So it does make one little section of one fairway a little harder. They'll eventually clear it and cut it down.
On the right?
Yeah, it's on the right, but it might be.
I was thinking hole one. Hole one has a branch, has a tree down
tree
about halfway down on the right side.
4. It might be further down the line than 4, but
I'm going to take a picture of hole 1 today and show you a big old branch that's down on the right side.
I know which one you're talking about, around the corner. But I think you're right. I think it's a little bit further down the track.
It used to be my landing spot as a lefty. If I didn't go far enough, I would land right behind where that tree is now. And it used to be open, so it was an easy layup. And now you have to...
You have to avoid that.
Protecting the green kind of over there? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. It's is there something about it, like they'll eventually cut the branch down, trim it up, like, and it'll eventually go away. But for now, it's a little bit different. Yeah, and I think that's a little bit what's awesome about the thing. We're very spoiled here in Austin with the number of courses we have and the quality of so many courses. Like, I think we have 18 hole courses that are legit, and we have over 30 courses altogether. We're spoiled.
There's a reason NADGT is here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That said, though, like the one thing that I think specifically Roy G could do to make it to level up its game, and no real courses in town have this, but having 3 pin locations that the pin location rotates throughout the year. I think that would upgrade a lot. There's a couple courses. Shout out to Ben at the Salt Lake City, another round, and his home course there. The name is escaping me, but it's the main course there right in town, just down the road from the shop. They have like 3 or 4 different pin locations, and when you go up to the tee box, there's like a dial that has spun, and then there's a little screw that keeps the spinner where it's supposed to be, and it'll say, "Okay, you're in pin location 1," and it has, I think it's like there's 2 different things. Maybe there's just 5 different pin locations, but it shows you all the different spots it could be, and the little color code shows you where it is today. And so every time you go to the course, there's a little bit different shot off the tee boxes.
I played at one like that called the Canyons in just outside of Chicago. And,
I know the Canyons. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, beautiful course. Loved it. But it was like that too. It's like there's not a ton of courses around here, but this course is like 4 courses. Because there's different tee boxes, there's different pin locations, and that is a really bitching course. If you're ever in that area, highly recommend it. Chicagoland,
really in general, pretty good disc golf destination. Not far from Emporia. It's pretty. I'm a fan. What's great, the Salt Lake City area. Did you know they really only have 3 courses?
Really, I didn't know that.
One of them's like a 9-hole park pitch and putt, and their scene is thriving. Like, they get 2 or 3 more courses there. One of their courses, it's not really a city course, it's like up on one of the ski resorts, but you take a ski lift up and you play down the mountain. Are you kidding me?
That's
so you ride up a
fun.
ski lift with your bag, and yeah, I think we got to go back. I think we got to go out there just to play that course.
I'm done.
But anyway, I've never seen anything get hit outside of like someone's bag or cart. But I will only say this: a pet peeve of mine is walking past. And I say it's a pet peeve. It's also a bad habit of mine. So I think it's why it's my pet peeve, because I'm trying so hard to be better at it.
Yourself from doing it.
But like one of the things, the rule of etiquette of disc golf is not advancing past the furthest back player's disc. The only time I've ever seen a cart or a bag get hit is when someone has walked up past.
Went to their disc, not considered the other person's.
And then it gets hit. Other than that, like for casual play, it's probably not that big a deal. But I'd say for a professional tour where money's on the line,
yeah,
I think we need some heads up here. I think we really need to keep our head on a swivel. I think the guys who are doing the rope lines and keeping people back, their main focus needs to be no one in play.
Yeah.
Period. And honestly, like, I think there's a better thing to do than having the in-out line be the line for the crowd. I think there needs to be in-out line, 1 meter, and then that's where the crowd starts, so that there is a buffer zone between the out-of-bounds line and where people can stand. That by itself would solve a lot of problems, and that's a couple cans of paint away from being solved. Like, I don't think that's a big ask.
Or a second line of string,
or second line of string, even better. Yeah.
It's Make it a little higher so it trips people if they try to mess with it.
And they do that sometimes. It's funny with like pro golf. I mean, they don't necessarily have out of bounds in pro golf, and sometimes balls go, even the best players will hit balls into spectators and sometimes hit them square in the face, and they just kind of deal with it. It's just an interesting problem.
I mean, sometimes the ball lands on Mr. Larson's foot. Insert Happy Gilmore picture here.
It appears the ball has landed on my foot.
Happy Gilmore made that shot no less than 2 hours ago. Sorry, we'll stop with movie quotes. That's how old we are. Anyway, we will talk about, when we come back from a quick break, playing with fewer discs. We've had some people throw some 2 and 3 disc challenge do really well. I figure we're going to explore that thought process real quick. But real quick, a word from... Welcome back. That was the first little spot here from Another Round. So that's sponsored officially by Another Round Disc Golf. Biggest selection in Austin. Come and see us as soon as we're open. We're going to be open first part of October, guessing October between 1st and 10th, somewhere in there. But, a few short weeks away. We'll have a bunch of stuff. Check us out at some of our drops we'll be having, like at Circle G tournament. We'll have a couple of places where we'll set up the tent, have some discs for sale, do some buybacks. We'll also have a big used disc buyback before we open. So be on the lookout for all that. We won't plug the shop a whole bunch on here. Back to stuff. Anyway.
I wanted to, can I do a plug?
Go for it.
It's, there's this guy that I know that has been putting these little circular guys around town. And if you're not following Another Round on Instagram, do it. Nick's been putting out some really cool content, and he's been putting these around town. And if you find one of these, what happens?
So basically, every Friday, I'm going to go to a different course in Austin. This course is going to be this week. It's going to be a course up north. I've heard the complaints. We'll get some of the north. And I promise. We'll go as far north as Benbrook. Don't get me wrong. I did the 2 pretty close to home. Last week I was a little tired. I just basically another one close to home.
I know a guy who lives north who would be happy.
Exactly. So we're going to utilize our network, and Freeberg is going to plant this one at one of the northern courses this Friday. If you know Freeberg, you might even be able to guess the course. Just saying.
Maybe.
But essentially what happens is if you find this out on the course, when the shop opens, you bring it in and you get a free shop stamped disc. We're going to have a whole bunch of different discs with the shop stamp on it. It'll have all the courses in town around the edge. So you get to come in, pick out one of those, and take that home for just finding one of these out on the course. They're real firm PVC plastic, so you can keep this as a coaster if you want. You don't have to turn it into the shop or anything. And then we're going to do 10 weeks of these. And then once those are done, every week we'll place one of these out on a different course, and you'll be able to bring this into the shop and use it like a Plinko chip and put it down a Plinko board, ding, 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 ding.
Rad to see.
And it'll go down to like the worst prize will be like 20% off. The best prize will be like a free merchandise or jersey or disc or something like that. So we'll have patches, pins, all kinds of stuff you can win. But essentially, you look out for those on the course. You find when you bring it into the shop, you get some free stuff.
Also work as a marker if you need it.
Absolutely can work as a mini, 1,000%. They weren't necessarily designed to be minis, but I've already seen someone use it as a mini. It's pretty cool. So that's that. Again, you know me, not a big fan of like trying to sell, but you get it.
Nick doesn't like to toot his own horn as much as I do. Do I like to toot your horn? Is that weird? Can I say that on air?
Don't toot his horn.
I'll toot his horn if I want.
No.
We'll toot it together.
I just watched the show called The Boys, and I'm thinking of a scene where there's this guy who made copies of himself tooting his own horn a bunch of times. It was really weird. Not that. Okay.
That's a trumpet.
That's a trumpet. Yeah. Trombone? I don't. Anyway, the joke stopped now because I can't think. So anyway.
I love that guy on Supernatural. And when he was on The Boys, I was like, oh, rad. And then I was like,
weird. Yeah. So we did we put up the zone round? Is that live?
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah.
So we just played around with one disc challenge over at C-Right. Link to it here. We'll throw a little thing up in the YouTube, whatever. But there's something to be said about keeping your disc golf game simple. Mm-hmm. One disc a zone, I think, is a great one because you can do a lot of things with it.
Yep.
But we had all of us had a pretty successful round.
Okay, round.
Throwing just one disc.
I mean, one of us had a good round.
Yes.
And two of us had mediocre.
In my defense, I use the zone all the time anyway at Zilker or at C-Right. So like most of those shots I already threw a zone. So it was like not a big adjustment for me.
Yeah.
But we still had a putt with it. Yeah. And like the longer holes had to kind of play to spots. I wonder how good of a disc golfer any of us actually are if we just threw the shots that were the absolute highest percentage shot every time.
Oh, we'd all get way better.
I think we'd be so much better. If we brought out a straight putter, a straight mid, and a straight fairway driver, I think we would be really good at disc golf.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, part of it is everybody wants to throw far. Throwing far, it's fun to watch disc fly. Like, don't get me wrong, I love watching disc fly.
Same. I'm a guilty as charged, but that's not necessarily how you score.
Placement is so much more important
than
if you can put something in the middle of the fairway, 280 feet down, that's better than something that's 400 feet that's off in the trees and shit. You know what I mean? So.
Unless you're pin high. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, absolutely right. And it feels like that sort of, I don't know, lesson is a little bit of, it's almost like the mental patience or mental like game that isn't necessarily like keeping thought swings or swing thoughts out of your head. It's more so just like, what am I best at? Can I just do the thing I'm best at? And heads up, most people are best at throwing a 250-foot shot kind of straight with a little bit of fade at the end. Mm-hmm. Everyone can kind of do that shot. Like whether you have to use a putter or a 12-speed, it doesn't matter. Almost everyone can execute that shot.
Yeah.
If you're having a rough day, maybe make your bag simpler. Maybe just use the 3 or 4 discs that you were super confident with in that bag or your cart or whatever. Like, I'm starting to do way more rounds without my cart and, 30 or 40 discs or whatever, and just bringing my little jam bag or just bringing my grip bag. And like today at Roy G, played the longs, probably my best round from the longs. And I had half the bag was just like, if you will, tester discs for the shop. Like I had the new Captain's Thruster, the Innova Racer, the Gorgon, just discs I'm trying out. So like my discs I was using was actually even smaller. I probably only had 12 discs that were like I was using these, and being stuck with 12 discs, did I hit every single line I was going for today? No, but my misses were never bad because I wasn't necessarily trying to like do some fancy late turnover, like some like I'm just hitting gaps and putting a little bit of ante or a little bit of hyzer on it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the biggest way to step up your game is to know your discs. right? Like
Amen.
If you can have a bag of 40 discs and know exactly what each of them
Jake
does,
Wolf, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, I can remember 5 or 6 discs, exactly what they do.
Yeah, it's like phone numbers. Like I can really only remember like 5 or 6 phone numbers. I'm not remembering more than that. Like I barely know my wife's phone number. Anymore. Like I have to go, oh yeah, my birthday, and then I like these 3. Yeah, it's her area code. Yeah.
So go. There was an 8 in there somewhere. No.
A 9er? What you calling for a Milwaukee talkie?
9er. But yeah. So like, I would say that was what helped my game get better. Was I finally and Wagner used to just pound this into me. He's like, stop tinkering with your bag, and I was always like, got a new disc with cool stab. I'm gonna throw it.
I don't know if I'll ever let go of that. I love bringing out new discs to the course and seeing what's going on. But we were talking about this today a little bit. There's a big difference of playing for like, I think you can just have 2 different types of play. Like you have one play where like I think if the next tournament I play in, I'm not bringing a cart. If I do bring my cart's being minimally packed, and I'm just have like a lot of drinks in there or something, or like a bunch of cool towels, like just a bunch of things to make me feel good, and then like 12 discs. Yeah. The cart that we're we'll talk about that another time. A design of a cart that I would love to see
in the near to distant future
would be that like you could have a bottom that you just make all storage with like a cooler where like most of the discs normally go, and then up top just have like between 12 and 20 discs, whatever you want to do, and just maybe because then having the option to load out something with a bunch and go to the field, great option. But like I think if I'm trying to play good, I don't think having more options is the play. I used to like try to meticulously like make a caddy card for myself of like, on this hole just throw this disc, this hole just throw this disc. But then I get there, I don't ever pull out that card, and when I do, I go, but there's a little tailwind. I could use that to get a few extra feet and just throw an understable. And I talk myself out of that little caddy card I make all the time anyway. Like what I need is like a very stern father figure to walk around with me with a bamboo wick and just hit me on the back of the shins like, no, throw the buzz. Throw the envy.
Yeah. Or like
you're zoning in.
Like a nun with a
oh, exactly. With a ruler. Yeah, absolutely.
Like a big ruler.
Just need something like that.
Or Lola to tell you.
Or Lola barking like that. I think what she's saying is we need to wrap it up and get to Roy G and play around.
Play some disc golf.
Yeah.
So our quick suggestion of the week, maybe minimize your bag.
Yeah.
If you're an amateur and you're looking for more, and we're obviously not talking to guys who have it all figured out in like the pro divisions or anyone really that's actually much better than us. Do your thing. But if you're someone who's struggling, like someone who feels like you're a better disc golfer than maybe what you're scoring in rated rounds, give it a try simplifying your bag. I would say go as simple as 5 or 7 discs if you want to like push the limits of it.
Yeah.
And make sure those discs can do your basic shots. Just have a lot of confidence in those, 5 or 7 discs.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Learn your discs.
And smooth is far.
Smooth is far.
Smooth is far, less is more.
Is it slow is smooth, smooth is fast?
And
I like to do that.
Yeah. You guys get it. Anyway, disc golf is awesome. Go play around. We're glad to be back. We're going to have way more content coming. Like I said, if you didn't check out the zone round, we'll throw a link for it up there. If you want to check out a whole bunch of cool disc golf videos to help out with some other stuff, we put a link down there. Of course, we have a link to the Power Disc Golf Academy down there as well. Don't forget to go grab a loot bag. They're always got their sponsor link down there. Loot hat on. Shout out Chris and Sid. They're making so much cool stuff for the shop. I can't wait to show you guys that stuff.
Oh, man.
But anyway, for Daniel in the booth, for me and this Daniel here, hope to see you out on the course sometime soon.
Watch out for those iron leaves and just be cool.
I've got a basket I'm trying to attack, but my disc just hit you in the sack. Can a better spotter be found? Because this one just ruined my round. Down again. I've got a basket I'm trying to attack, but my disc just hits you in the sack.